coming from a master creator himself, that's Giorgio Armani, you know you should take that one. It's really, in paying attention to the tiniest of details, the things not said that, you get to attain excellence, maybe at a really fast rate, actually. So as you go into the week, as you do, your job for the week, just remember, pay attention to the details. All right, welcome to the conversation on TOSTV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network, reaching you from Abuja, that's Nigeria's capital city. And of course, my name is Adesewell. So you have quite, a number of interesting lineup for you on the show today. Stories from across Africa, and then the big story, which is, quite interesting. Having a guest help review a very, very, very pressing issue in the culture right now. But before then, allow me, to bring you stories and developments from across Africa. And then the first story is from South Africa. South Africa's Eastern Cape lost an estimated 80 million rand from a fire that ripped through the Boca Park Business Center at Komani. The fire broke out in the early hours of Saturday, gutting several warehouses that held furniture and vehicles, and the police supply chain management offices. That kind of situation happened here in Abuja, I think more than one time, and I know it's quite sad. Away from South Africa to Tunisia, where Tunisia's president, early on Sunday, that's yesterday, issued a decree that allows him to dismiss judges or block their promotion. This development cements his grip over the judiciary and is helping to consolidate his power after he seized absolute control over both executive and legislative authority in July, a move his opposition have called a coup. And then the last story is from Burkina Faso, where dozens of fighters in Burkina Faso linked to deadly attacks this week in neighboring Benin Republic were killed by French forces. That's the army, the Burkina Faso army said. The French-led Burkina force in the Sahel region engaged its air intelligence capacities to locate the armed group responsible for the attack before carrying out air attacks that killed 40 fighters, the Army General Command said on Saturday. The army is winning against rebel forces. That's the breakdown of it. And that's it for development across Africa here on The Conversation. I'm going to bring you COVID-19 updates. Yes, by now you should be used to that. I'm going to bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. And afterwards, we're delving straight into the big story. You're still watching The Conversation on TOSTV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. And as I always tell you, you can be a part of the conversation by following us across all social media platforms, TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube, it's TOSTV Network. And of course, you can stream our website for news and stories from across the world on www.tostvnetwork.com. Now, moving straight into the crux of the conversation, the very interesting topic that we're going to be looking at on the big story today. Yes, so we're going to be looking at adulterated PMS and looking at how much grip does NNPC actually have over importation of fuel in Nigeria. And joining me over the phone to discuss this issue is Professor Ken Ike, an economist. Good morning, Professor. Welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, good morning, and thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, sir. Now, moving straight into it, 4 queues have lingered for over 2 weeks now, or almost 2 weeks now, and then there's been a portioning of blame from the NNPC to 4 different petrol importers into the country. What's your take on NNPC's grip on fuel importation into Nigeria? Do you think they have a strong grip on importation of fuel into Nigeria?
I think, to be honest with you, NNPC is playing with fire and inflammable liquid. You see, it should embark on damage limitation and stop trading blames with PLCs. Public limited companies quoted in the stock market is the last person you want to trade blames with, especially when you cannot find your facts, when your facts are not correct. You've now got a position where Orlando and MRS are disclaiming, and any more push is going to be considered as a reputational damage. In addition to the contractual issues, you are damaging their reputation because they are quoted on the market and their shares could crash. Anything can happen. So where are we? First is that CAC Incorporation of NNPC has actually blown their sovereign cover. So they cannot hide under sovereign cover to do the things they were doing before. So they are now going to be treated like any other company. So and I do hope that they have operational insurance that will cover the scale of their exposure to this kind of challenge that they're having right now.
Okay.
Now, what they need to, well, I have to tell you, because what has compounded the problem for them is that you have a president that is actually leading the charge on who is responsible, who is accountable, and we must have public remedy to the public. So when the president is doing that, when he feels frustrated, he will sack the board. He will sack the management. He could do anything, but without regard, without recourse to legal actions that will start with all these companies that you are trading blame to. So I think what they should do, NNP should do, is to actually bring all these suppliers together and bring the refiner. Because in the end of the day, they are doing a swap agreement, a crude swap, where they are sending the crude to the refiner, and the refiner refines, and the refiner adds methanol. If methanol wasn't part of the original, they added methanol. And if you are adding methanol to a product, you must be able to gauge the quantity that you've added.
Yeah.
Because that's an added product. And then the test rigs, the test regimes, and the protocols didn't actually include methanol in the testing. So who are you going to blame for that? It's a big, massive error so they have to get back to brass tacks, get companies to come and sort out their procedures, look at their contracts, because they can't continue with the kind of contract they had when they were government. Now they're not government, they're private companies. So they have to review their contracts to see their exposure and then see where all the risks areas, and then make sure that there are adequate protocols to make sure that, and they're not even talking about the refiners that are the big people that made the first mistake in the first place. And then I don't even know the nature of the contract they have with these suppliers, whether they are agents or whether they are principals. But even then, a lot of the blames are upstream to the company that refined the fuel and the company that failed to show the quantity of methanol that was added, the test regimes, the various layers of test regimes that don't even have alcohol, methanol on their testing schedules. And then before you come to the person who simply went and collected the fuel and brought it to be delivered to Nigeria, and you are blaming them.
So how does this speak to NNPC's checks and balance system of regulation and control of importation of fuel? How does this situation speak to that?
Well, that's the whole point about what I'm doing, that they have to revamp their business practice. You have to make sure that you have the contract that you have with your refiner includes their own liability. Because now they're not even talking about the refiners, who are the first port of call. Why you put methanol in my refined fuel? Yes. What quantity did you put? Why were you not able to confirm that the quantity you put was within my limit of 5%? Do you understand? They added alcohol there. Alcohol wasn't. Alcohol would have been stripped with the condensates at the level of the crude before the crude is sent out. So now, for them to refine, they have to have added this to the PMS. So they have liability. The very first point, are they covered by contract? With the NNPC, the refiners. Then you get to transporters. Did the transporters add methanol on transit? I mean, I don't know that they could do that, but it's possible. Nobody even talked about the fact that it's even possible that some of the illegal refiners in Nigeria added their product to the thing when they were being empty, because that has been happening in the past, but I'm not sure that is the case now. So NNPC has so much work to do to ensure that they protect themselves, protect the supply chain, protect the consumers. But and these things don't seem to have been happening at the moment. And what they are doing, they're trading blames. And that's a very dangerous route to go. And if they take action on these suppliers, transporters, based on the current state of it, they will come back to them with specific damages, aggravated damages, and liquidated damage. So they have to tread very, very carefully.
Okay.
And isolate this particular incident from any other action that they may want to take.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining me on the conversation this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for staying with me up until this time on the conversation. Do not forget to join me again tomorrow, same time, same station. But before that, you can be a part of the conversation or be a part of the TOSTV community. Follow TOSTV across all social media platforms. That's TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's TOSTV Network. And of course, you can stream our website for content, news, and happenings from across the world on www.tostvnetwork.com. My name is Adesuwa Osuyi. Thank you so much. Have a great day and happy Valentine's Day.